Oh,
Holy fuck, that was nice.
Alrighty,
It's a good
Garrison.
thing I'm reading tonight, 'cause fuck.
You've got 120 minutes to get this thing done before Zencaster screws us over. And on that note, you are listening to the Micro Machines podcast. This week, our topic is the M26 Pershing. Shall we do some introductions, fellas?
Who the fuck added anime on my goddamn slide?
Ezra.
What? No, absolutely not. I would
That's what
never.
he was doing at
He's been a barista.
Baristas don't actually work from what I've been told, so apparently he has time to add anime to the slides.
I am not a barista anymore. I'm a busser. Thank you very much.
I bet it's a false flag operation. That one. I bet it was like Dennis.
Probably.
Me?
You fucking Vatican.
Anyway,
Vatnik. What are you calling Vatnik's
Vatican. If you turn Catholic on us. Well, you got me, Callum, and I am from New Zealand and drinking a nice Jameson and dry. Because, I need one. My legs hurt. Everything's getting all cramped up. Alcohol helps. Next.
You got me, Dennis, in Ontario. I was drinking an instant coffee, but due to time constraints at Zencaster, I can no longer refill my cup. I'm being discriminated against.
Then you've got me, Garrison, chilling in Kansas, drinking coffee, and
Excuse me.
apparently excusing Ezra.
That was loud.
Ezra. I'm Ezra in New Mexico, currently violating some creme brulee cheesecake from work.
What the hell, man?
Christ alive.
Yeah, you know what, Garrison, get on with it. Let's go.
Okay. Well, real quick, start in advance. If I start cutting out, my internet's being kind of shitty tonight. Don't know why, so just let me know. Anyways, what is the M26 Pershing? The M26 Pershing is a heavy/medium tank formerly used by the United States Army. It was used in the last months of World War II during the invasion of Germany and extensively during the Korean War. The tank was named after General John J. Pershing, who led the American Expeditionary Force in Europe in World War I. The M26 was intended as a replacement of the M4 Sherman, but a prolonged development period meant that only a small number saw combat in Europe during World War II. Based on the criteria of firepower, mobility, and protection, the U.S. historian R.P. ranked the Pershing behind the German Tiger II heavy tank, but ahead of the heavy Tiger I medium and Panther tanks. It was withdrawn in 1951 in favor of its improved derivative, the M46 Patton, which had a more powerful and reliable engine and advanced suspension. The lineage of the M26 continued with the M47 Patton and was reflected in the new designs of the later M48 Patton and M60 Patton. Whoever put my anime on the wall can die.
You're welcome.
I knew it was Dennis. I knew it.
Of course it was me.
Fucking
Oh, yes.
false flag operation.
Typical fucking orc. Anyways, development. Overall development. Sorry, Dennis. The M26 was the culmination of a series of medium tank prototypes that began with the T20 in 1942. It was a significant design from the previous line of U.S. Army tanks that had ended with the M4 Sherman. Several design features that were tested in the prototypes, some of these were experimental dead ends, but many became permanent characteristics of U.S. Army tanks. This series of prototype vehicle began as medium tank project that was similar to, but more modern than the originally introduced M4 Sherman, and ended several years later as the U.S. Army's first operational, quote, heavy tank. There you can see the Pershing being built.
So if you go back to that last slide real quick, that forward, that one. So whereabouts in the production line was the top high right? Where was that assembled?
Go on, Garrison. You're the Pershing expert. Let's go.
Third time is a goddamn charm, and I bet you Hiroshima and Nagasaki are within the blast radius of 1. I will destroy you.
Wouldn't be the first time today that that's been threatened on me. Oh, look, another.
Fucking swear. Oh, okay. Fucking Dennis. All right, development. The T20. Ignore that big-tittied anime bitch down there. The T20 was designed to have a more compact hull than the M4. The Ford GAN. Oh God.
Oh, God. What can I say, Garrison? I know your taste.
I'm sorry, everyone, but I just had to do that one. Anyway, please continue.
For this. Okay, the Ford GAN V8, a lower silhouette version of the GAA engine used in the later variants of the M4, had become available. The engine had originally been an effort by Ford to produce a V12 liquid-cooled aircraft engine patterned after the Rolls-Royce Merlin, but failed to earn any aircraft orders, so it was adapted as a V8 for use in tanks. So basically, this is the Abrams granddad, because it has an aircraft engine.
I gotta say, I love the look of the T20. Where are the model of a T20? I need a T20. That thing looks awesome.
It's so cute.
It looks like a mixture of a Sherman and a Pershing.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's so cute. The use of this lower... Bitch. Maybe if you followed the fuck along and didn't play with your orc self and the little anime girl down there.
Why are you calling me an orc?
The use of this lower profile engine together with the choice of a rear transmission and rear sprocket drive layout made it possible to lower the whole silhouette and eliminate its side sponsons, which is really cool. The T20 was fitted with a new 76mm M1A1 gun. The 3-inch M7 was considered too heavy at about 1990, almost 2,000 pounds. The 3-inch frontal hull armor was 0.5 inches, also known as 13 millimeters, thicker than the 63mm 2.5-inch frontal armor of the M4. The glacis plate slope was similar at 46 degrees. The T20's overall weight was approximately the same as an M4. So it's better. Next we have the T22, a little buffier little guy. The T22 series reverted to the M4 transmission because of the problems with the early Torquematic transmission used in the T20. The T22E1 tested an autoloader for the main gun and eliminated the loader's position with a small two-man turret. Through much of 1943, there was little perceived need within the U.S. Army for a better tank than the 75mm M4 Sherman. And so, lacking any insight from the rest of the Army as to what was needed, the Ordnance Department then took a development detour into electrical transmissions with the T23 series. Next. Alright. T23. The electrical transmission was built by General Electric and had the engine driving a generator that powered 2 tractor motors. The concept was similar to the drive system of the German Porsche Tiger. It had performance advantages in rough or hilly terrain, where the system could better handle the rapid changes in torque requirements. The electrical transmission T23 was championed by the Ordnance Department during this phase of development. After the initial prototypes were built in early 1943, an additional 250 T-23 tanks were produced from January to December 1944. These were the first tanks in the U.S. Army with the 76mm M1A1 gun to go into production. However, the T-23 would have required that the Army adopt an entirely separate line of training, repair, and maintenance, and so was rejected for combat operations. The primary legacy of the T-23 would thus be its production cast turret, which was designed from the beginning to be interchangeable with the turret ring of the M4 Sherman.
It looks like a Sherman that got squished.
It does,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Look at that little guy.
See, now we're getting
Oh, that's
somewhere.
so cute.
It still has the bogey system, though, so it's almost
That's
there.
the HBSS system.
It looks like a little bug with a big head. The T25 and T26. The T25 and T26 lines of tanks came into being in the midst of a heated internal debate within the U.S. Army from mid-43 to early 44 over the need for tanks with greater firepower and armor. A 90mm gun mounted in a massive new turret was installed in both series. The T26 series were given additional frontal hull armor, with the glacis plate increased to 4 inches, which is 10 centimeters. This increased the weight of the T26 series to be over 36 tons and decreased their mobility and durability, as the engine and powertrain were not improved to compensate for the weight gain. The T26E3 was the production version of the T26E1, with a number of minor modifications made as the result of field testing. In February 1945, the T26 was fielded in the European theater, where its performance received early praise from the Army Ordnance Office officials. The Army named the tank after Army General John J. Pershing when it was redesignated the M26 in March 1945. Ta-da! The M26 Pershing, the one we know now. Production finally began in 1944. 10 T26 E3 tanks were produced at that month at the Fisher Tank Arsenal, 30 in December, 70 in January of 45, and 132 in February of 45. The Detroit Tank Arsenal also started production in March 1945, and combined output was 194 tanks for that month. Production continued through the end of the war, and over 2,000 were produced by the end of 1945. That's a lot of Pershings.
Some would say that's not enough Pershing.
I would say that's not enough Pershing. Pershing should have replaced the Sherman right after Normandy, but whatever. Let's see. The Super Pershing. The 90mm M3 gun of the Pershing was similar to the German 88 used on the Tiger I. In an effort to match the firepower of the King Tiger with more powerful 88mm, the T-15E1 90mm gun was developed and mounted in a T-26E1 in January of 45. This tank was designated T-26E1-1. It's fancy. The T-15E1 gun was 73 calibers and muzzle velocity of 3,750 feet per second, with the T-30E16 armor-piercing or APCR shots and could penetrate the Tiger's frontal armor beyond 3,300 yards, which is 3,000 meters. The model shown used single-piece 50-inch long ammunition, which was the only Super Sherman sent to Europe. Firing trials with the T-15E1 revealed that the length and weight of the single-piece ammunition made it difficult to stow inside the tank and load into the gun. A second pilot tank was converted from the T-26E3 and used a modified T-15E2 gun that had two-piece ammunition. 25 production models of the tank, designated T-26E4, were built, and improved mounting removed the need for stabilizer springs. Post-war, 2 M26 tanks had the T-54 gun installed, which had the same long gun barrel, but the ammunition cartridge was designated to be shorter and fatter, while still retaining the propellant force of the original round. The tanks were designated as the M26E1 tank, but lack of funds cut off further production. Alright, so now we go into combat history. Due to the repeated design and production delays, only 20 Pershing tanks were introduced into the European theater before the Battle of the Bulge showed the serious mismatch between Allied and German armor. The first shipment of Pershings arrived at Antwerp during January of 1945. They were given to the 1st Army, which split them between the 3rd and 9th Armored Divisions. A total of 310 T26 E3 tanks were eventually sent to Europe before VE Day, with 200 being issued to troops. The actual numbers that engaged in combat is unknown. In February of 1945, Major General Gladion M. Barnes, Chief of Research and Development Section of Army Ordnance, personally led a special team to the European theater called the Zebra Mission. Its purpose was to support the T-26 E3 tanks, which still had teething problems, as well as to test other new weapons. In March, the T-26 E3 tanks were redesignated the M26. So Elfsdorf, the first initial point of contact for the Pershing. The 3rd Armored first used the 26 to engage the enemy on 25 February near the Royal River. On 26 February, the Pershing named Fireball was knocked out in an ambush in Elfsdorf, Germany, while overwatching a roadblock. Silhouetted by a nearby fire from a struck Sherman, the Pershing was in a disadvantage. A concealed Tiger tank firing 3 point-blank shots. The first penetrated the turret through the turret's coax, killing both the gunner and loader. The second shot hit the gun's muzzle, causing it to split. The last shot glanced off the turret side. While backing up to escape, the Tiger became entangled in debris and was abandoned by the crew. Fireball was quickly repaired and back in the fight. Shortly afterwards, also at Elfsdorf, another T-26 E3 knocked out a Tiger 1 and 2 Panzer IVs. The Tiger was knocked out at 900 yards, which is 820 meters, with the 90mm HVAP T30 E16 ammunition. I hate that you added the fucking Pershing in my Fireball picture.
Well, guess what?
Oh my god, no!
It just keeps getting better.
You fucking... okay. Okay. Cologne. God, I hate you. On 6 March, just after the 3rd Armored Division had entered the city of Cologne, a famous tank duel took place. A Panther tank on the street in front of the Cologne Cathedral was lying in wait for enemy tanks. 2 M4 Shermans were supporting infantry and came up on the same street as the Panther. They ended up stopping just before the cathedral because of the rubble in the street and didn't see the enemy Panther. The lead Sherman was knocked out, killing 3 of the 5 crew. A T-26 E3 was in the next street over and was called to engage the Panther. What happened next was described by the gunner, Corporal Clarence Smoyer. Quote, "We were told to just move into the intersection far enough to fire into the side of the enemy tank, which had its gun facing up the other street where the Sherman had been destroyed. However, as we entered the intersection, our driver had his periscope turned toward the Panther and saw their gun turning to meet us. When I turned our turret, I was looking into the Panther's gun tube. So instead of stopping to fire, our driver drove into the middle of the intersection so he wouldn't be a sitting target. As we were moving, I fired once. Then we stopped and I fired 2 more shells to make sure they wouldn't fire at our side. All 3 of our shells penetrated, 1 under the gun shield and 2 on the side. The 2 side hits went completely through and out the other side. 4 of the Panther's crew members were able to successfully bail out of the stricken tank before it was destroyed. The action was recorded by Signal Corps cameraman Technical Sergeant Jim Bates, and this you can read about that encounter in what's that book called, Callum? Spearhead by Adam Makos. It is a wonderful book. It'll make you cry. The rest of World War II, Nile, Mannheim, Rohr River, and the Ludendorff Bridge. On the same day, another Pershing was knocked out in the town of Nil near Cologne by a rarely seen Noshorn 88mm tank destroyer at a range of under 30 or 300 yards, which is roughly 270 meters.
Good lord, that's point blank.
That is, yeah, especially for the Nashorn, dude. That's fucking right there. There were 2 other tank engagements involving the Pershing, with 1 Tiger 1 knocked out during the fighting around Cologne and 1 Panzer IV knocked out at Mannheim. The Pershings of the 9th Armored Division saw action and fighting around the Roy River, with one Pershing disabled by 2 hits from a German 150 mm field gun. A platoon of 5 26s, less one that was being serviced, played a key role in helping Combat Command B of the 9th Armored capture the Lutendorf Bridge during the Battle of Remagen on 7 to 8 March 1945, providing fire support to the infantry in order to take the bridgehead before the Germans could blow it up. In encounters with Tigers and Panthers, the 26 performed well. Some of the division's other tanks were able to cross the bridge, but the Pershings were too large and heavy to cross the damaged bridge and had to wait 5 days before getting across the river by barge. Europe's bridges were in general not designed for heavy loads, which had been one of the original objections to sending a heavy tank to Europe. Oh, yes, the last bit of combat history in World War II, or lack thereof, Okinawa. In May of 1945, as fierce fighting continued on the island of Okinawa, the M4 tank losses mounted. Plans were made to ship the Pershing tanks to that battle. On 31 May 45, a shipment of 12 Pershing tanks were dispatched to the Pacific for use in the Battle of Okinawa. Due to a variety of delays, the tanks were not completely offloaded on the beach of Naha, Okinawa, until 4 August. By then, fighting on Okinawa had come to an end, and VJ Day followed on 2nd September 1945. So, in an alternate reality, if we didn't drop those fucking bombs, there would be Pershings in Tokyo, and that would have been awesome. Let's see. Korean War. At the outbreak of the Korean War, only 4 tank companies equipped with the M24 Chaffee were operational under the U.S. Far East Command. In July of 1950, when the M24 was revealed ineffective against North Korean tanks such as the T-34-85, the U.S. military hurriedly began to mobilize medium-sized tanks to deal with them. The Far East Command urgently maintained 3 Pershing tanks, which were left unattended at the Tokyo Ordnance Depot and organized into provisional tank platoons, commanded by Lieutenant Samuel Fuller, and deployed them to the Korean Peninsula. However, when defending Jinju on July 31st, all of these tanks experienced engine overheating and became immobilized due to the insignificant maintenance on belts and cooling fans, and eventually all of them were self-destructed.
Wonder why they just had Chaffies.
Nobody was expecting a war.
Yeah, that's true, because the Chaffee only had, the 76 millimeter? Like the short barrel?
75, the short 75.
Yeah, that's right, yeah, which seems a bit light.
I mean, if you think about it, there weren't a hell of a lot of tank duels in the Pacific. And so after World War II, they're trying to die off, the war effort a bit, but still keep a presence. So that's probably why they kept the Chaffies there, because they're quick, easy to maintain, easy to move, transport places.
Look good.
Look good, all that shit.
Love the Chaffee. Great looking tank.
Sweet little guy. Around the same time, various tank battalions of the Army and a tank company from the 1st Marine Provisional Brigade, which were all fully organized armored training units, were dispatched to the Korean Peninsula along with the M26 Pershing tank. The 70th Tank Battalion at Fort Knox, Kentucky, had pulled World War II Memorial 26s off of pedestals and reconditioned them for use. Yeah, that's pretty bad. But had to fill out 2 companies of M4A3s. The 72nd Tank Battalion from Fort Lewis, Washington, and 73rd Tank Battalion from Fort Benning, Georgia, were fully equipped with M26 Pershings. The 89th Medium Tank Battalion was constituted in Japan with 3 companies of reconditioned M4A3s and 1 of the M26s from various bases in the Pacific. Due to the shortage of Pershings, most regimental tank companies had M4A3 Shermans instead. 2 battalions detached from the 2nd Armored Division at Fort Hood, Texas, the 6th Medium and 64th Heavy Tank Battalions were fully equipped with M46 Patton tanks. The 1st Marine Division at Camp Pendleton, California had all M4A3 howitzer tanks, which were replaced with M26s just days before boarding ships to Korea. On August 17th, the M26 of U.S. Marine Tank Company destroyed 3 T-34-85s of the 109th Tank Regiment of the North Korean Army in a few minutes during their first contact at Aubin-Ri, whatever. Then during the Battle of the Bowling Alley, that's a lot easier to pronounce, the M26s of the 73rd Tank Battalion, which supported the ROK 1st Infantry Division during the Battle of Tabu Dong. That sounds like a search tab on PH. Tabu Dong destroyed 13 T-34-85 tanks and 5 Su-75 excuse me, 5 Su-75M self-propelled guns. A total of 309 Pershing tanks were fielded on the Korean Peninsula by the end of 1950, and 29 North Korean tanks were defeated by them during the same period. In particular, thanks to the 90mm main gun, the M26 was evaluated to be more effective in tank combat than the M4A3E8. However, the Pershing tank was gradually replaced by the new M46 tank in 1951 due to its chronicle lack of mobility as the war evolved into battles between mountains. So, my boy there didn't like mountains. Me neither. A 1954 survey concluded that there were in all 119, mostly small-scale, tank versus tank actions involving U.S. Army and Marine units during the Korean War, with 97 T-34-85 tanks knocked out and another 18 probables. The M4A3E8 was involved in 50% of the tank actions, the Pershing was in 32%, and the 46 was in 10%. The M26/M46 provided or proved to be an overmatch for the T-34-85 as its 90mm high-velocity armor-piercing round could, at point-blank range, punch all the way through the T-34 from the front glacis armor to the back, where the T-34-85 had difficulty penetrating the armor of the 26 or 46. The EZ-8, firing 76mm high-velocity armor-piercing rounds that were widely available during the Korean War, unlike World War II, was a closer match to the T-34-85, as both tanks could easily destroy each other on normal combat ranges.
Damn, so that would just right through a T-34, Jesus.
Yeah, it'd go through
that's
the
overkill
engine and everything. Oh, dude, fuck yeah. That first contact between the Marines and T-34s, the commander of the 1st Pershing actually shot like 3 rounds through the turret of the T-34, and it kept firing at him. And he thought, fuck, we're not even penetrating. And then they aimed lower, and they shot like 2 shots into the body, and it eventually, killed the crew and all that shit. And they figured out after, they did their BDA, they're like, oh fuck, we went through the tank.
Yeah, so it's like just punching through, and they'll fine, sort of. As fine as you could be having a tank round going through your tank.
It's fucking wild. What else is wild is they use Pershings for artillery support. But after November of 1950, North Korean armor was rarely encountered. Thank you, Pershings. China entered the conflict in February of 1951 with 4 regiments of tanks, a mix of mostly T-34-85 tanks with a few IS-2 tanks and some other armored fighting vehicles. However, because these Chinese tanks were dispersed with the infantry, tank-to-tank battles with UN forces were uncommon. With the marked decrease in tank-to-tank actions, the automotive deficiencies of the M26 in the mountainous Korean terrain became more of a liability. So some Pershings were withdrawn from Korea during 1951 and replaced with the M4A3 Shermans and M46 Pattons. The M45 howitzer tank variant was only used by the assault gun platoon of the 6th Medium Tank Battalion, and these 6 vehicles were withdrawn by January of 51.
So what's the difference between a 26 and a 46? Like, is there much like difference between them, like design-wise, or is it just more internals?
I'll be honest, I'm not sure.
Oh, interesting.
Garrison. Just savor it.
Ew, ew.
Look, she loves you.
Fuck off. Do my Pershing like that.
Well, that was a very good chat there, Garrison.
Yeah, it was.
Thank you. Fucking took me 5 hours to get all that.
Probably more prep work than we normally do. Alright, Alright, we're going to have a short intermission, then we'll get on to model talk. That will be the model news, as well as what we're working on and shit like that. So we'll be back in a sec.
This episode is brought to you by Autoloader Decals. Have you wandered round the shelves of your local hobby store and found that perfect model kit? Great tooling, fun to build, and look, you remember seeing the subject. Perhaps it was a truck in the ubiquitous white UN paint scheme in the newspaper, or maybe it was a Sherman tank from your local armour unit. Everything is lining up for a fantastic new project, one with a more interesting connection to yourself, instead of a project derived from a history book. Then you open the kit, and there are none of those specific markings to be found. Waterslide decals really put the final touch on a model, and unfortunately for the model maker, most kit manufacturers won't put too much time into designing decals that produce a finished model in anything but its most stereotypical form. That's why Autoloader Decals exists. It is their sincere hope that you'll be able to find as much enjoyment using these special water slides as they have. Autoloader Decal products are primarily focused on Canadian subjects, but in general, if you're looking for markings that represent vehicles from lesser known parts of modern history, chances are you might just be able to find something worth trying. The waterslide decals are printed through an inkjet printer and sealed with a high quality varnish to ensure their strength on the model. Unlike most other water slides, these decals only need to be submerged for a few seconds and can be placed right onto the model. They are incredibly tough and won't yellow over time. For an added benefit, decals intended for 1:35 scale are treated with a special varnish that gives a subtle, painted-on look that's both in scale and more realistic than other brands' offerings. All the products currently in production are listed in the store page. If you have a custom design you would like to order, the best way of making this order is to send an email through the contact page. Generally, the cost of a custom order will be 40 to 50% higher than any products that are in stock to account for labour. Also, as a special deal, if you are ordering a set of custom decals and you mention the Micro Machines podcast, you'll receive a free exclusive MMP Pinju decal with your order. So next time you're looking to build a specific or unique vehicle, look towards Autoloader Decals. Just go to www.autoloadermodels.ca for all your waterslide decal needs. And now, back to the show.
So much.
And we are back.
Hello, world.
Hey, that's what I write as a computer science student every day.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, Garrison, I think you'd like to tell us a bit about a model you've made of a Pershing, eh? Go.
Okay. This is my Pershing. It's the Tamiya 35th scale Pershing. I made it to be the fireball that got knocked out in Elsdorf the morning after, with medics pulling the dead crew members out. The 4 pictures there on the right and bottom showcasing the battle damage. The top pictures of those are the actual photographs, and the bottom are what I recreated. And then the bottom left is the diorama I made, which got a first prize at my local hobby show, which was really freaking cool. If you want to see more of that, go check out my YouTube channel.
Alrighty, well, shall we talk about the hobby news, fellas?
Fucking
Sounds
send
good.
that shit.
Well, I'll start off. So I Love Kit is coming out with a 1:35 scale M48A5 to follow up with their new line of M48s. This looks like a pretty good kit. Lots of slide molding in it, and as well a little bit of photo etch. I like the winter scheme on that boxer. That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Ooh.
So this is a detail kit I found for the HK models B17G. So this is just a interior for the nose. So you can see the CAD renderings, and then the actual pieces put together inside the nose. It looks very good. So you got the chin gun, you got the chin turret, you got the 250s, you got the bomb sight, you got everything in there. So there's just a nice detail upgrade to the nose of a B17G.
And Callum, is this 1:32 or 1:48?
48.
I was going. Oh, but why am I not looking at the title? Damn. Okay.
Look
Never
at the
mind.
damn title.
Well, if you're gonna buy that big kit anyways, you may as well get this.
Yeah, I know, right? You might as well. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd love to
especially-
just build the nose by itself.
What? Ezra, fix your Wi-Fi.
Oh, I said I'd love to just build the nose by itself.
Yeah.
Actually, if they did that in like 30-second scale, just the nose, that'd be great.
Yeah, like the Lancaster.
I was
Yeah.
about to say, yeah. who is a border model? They do the Lancaster with just the nose now.
Yeah, I'd love to do that'd actually be a pretty cool series just to do noses of large aircraft. Because then all you do is you mount it on a bit of board and then you mount it on a wall.
Oh,
Yeah.
It could be like a bust.
Yeah.
That'd be really neat.
Yeah, especially with the B-17 having the nice big glass nose, you'll actually be able to appreciate the detail here.
Yeah. Like you could do
mouse could off, right?
Yeah, you could do stuff like the Heinkel HE111 or something like that, you know.
No. The A10 better. I want that. I want this kit really bad.
Ezra, did you just say what I thought you said?
No. I said it ironically.
Garrison, am I hearing this right? I don't even care about the Canadian Goose. That's cool. Garrison, did Ezra just say what I thought he said?
He did.
No, I said that ironically.
I'm kicking this guy from the podcast. I'm kicking him. Watch, I'm actually going to do it. Okay, so Italy is following up with their 1-72 F-35A. Actually, I'm sorry. They're following up with their 1-72 scale F-35B with an F-35A. You may know the F-35B because Tamiya did a collaboration with Italy on the molds for that kit. So, for reference, the F-35B, which came out, I think, 2 years ago now, is the short takeoff and vertical landing variant of the F-35. Now, Italy is making the conventional takeoff and landing F-35A, which most air forces around the world that use the F-35, they're using this variant. And this is pretty cool. 72 scale. A lot of the kits are going to be a lot of the parts, I should say, are going to be common with the F-35B because from the exterior, the aircraft are basically the same. But yeah, it's going to have some new decals for American, Italian, Israeli, Dutch, and Australian F-35s, and yeah, it's going to be pretty cool.
Right on.
Not gonna lie, I really want to build the Israeli one, and with all the weapons hanging out, that'd be dope.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
So Trumpeter are releasing another new 350 scale battleship. If only Jack was here, this would interest him a lot. So this is a paper class. This is a paper, like the ship version of a paper Panzer. So this is the H-class battleship, which is basically the Bismarck and the Tirpitz, only bigger. Slightly bigger, more guns. Instead of having the two gun turrets, they have 3 guns, and yeah, it's just Bismarck and Tirpitz on steroids, basically.
That's pretty cool.
That is a neat box art they've got as well.
I know it's targeting Royal Air Force jets.
Those are Javelins, aren't they?
They are indeed.
Which is ironic because these were originally designed in the 30s and late 30s, early 40s. I guess they're just expecting them to last long enough. I don't know. But yeah, if only Jack was here. And Trumpeter bringing out a new 35th scale vehicle. This is it's a German AA truck with the quad 20mm in the back. This looks cool. I think it was used in the desert. Can't remember the name. Hang on. I've got the name right here.
L4500A.
Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Thank you. Oh yeah, it is. I wouldn't mind one of these, to be honest.
Dennis, you like this?
You goosed my Val.
What is there?
So, Dennis,
I said, you like this, don't you?
when are you going to build this,
look,
Dennis?
It's me. Look, it's me and Harvey. We're taking a little trip to Hawaii.
So, Infinity Models are releasing a Archie D3A1 Val in 32nd scale. So, the scheme for this is going to be Pearl Harbor, as it is always. So this is going to have full details, photo etch, everything, the whole shooting match. So this looks like a very good kit. I wouldn't mind having it, to be honest.
The box art's really cool too.
Yeah.
Well done.
For the clear parts, the canopy, they have 2 options: fully closed and segmented, so you can have it open or not.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I found this one just because. Why not? So this is a new one for Dragon's NAM series. This is an OH-6A Cayuse helicopter with a full crew. With a crew. The box art looks amazing. You have a guy hanging out with an M60 on one side, and you can see the 6 barrels of a minigun on the other side. So this thing is in 35th, I think. Yeah, 35th scale. This would definitely be a helicopter I would want to build. And that box art is just incredible. You got the Sky Raider in the background. That's just oof. That is a chef's kiss.
Say its name again. Say it.
The Cayuse.
No, bitch.
Sky Raider.
We gotta get you the 48 scale to be a
Yes!
Sky Raider.
Oh my god.
Well, what have we been working on this week, gentlemen? Oh, great, it's me. Thank you, Garrison. Thank you, that's very nice of you. Lovely, truly.
Well, I mean, you did Pershing him, so he's gonna goose you.
Bro just turned into the Joker.
Something inside of Garrison just snapped. Tom, you're gonna have to edit that part out because I think it might actually scare some people.
Yeah,
he's gonna end up on a few more watch lists.
This is me.
Garrison, what was in that anti-malaria medication I gave you?
I'm so tired.
He pulled a Roz from where there's your problem.
Literally. Well, university over. Math monster defeated. I'm finally being able to get back to the bench, and so I've started off small. I'm not going crazy. This is the Hasegawa 1-200 scale C-47 search and rescue plane. It's a nice little model. You can see with the airbrush in the back a bit of a reference on the size, but it's really well detailed. Fit was great. It's got the nice panel lines, which will unfortunately have to get covered up because they're way out of scale. But it's nice, and I'm doing it in the scheme of a USAF search and rescue plane.
That's dope.
the yellow. Yeah. Very nice. It's a nice kit. If you can find it, I'd honestly recommend it. It's pretty cool.
Is it going to have invasion stripes?
Well, it has... No, so it's a post-war aircraft. So what it's going to have is basically black stripes going diagonal across the wings. And that's what denoted it as search and rescue.
Okay, that's dope.
Yeah. I'm going to put on a little diorama, too.
Fuck yeah.
What the hell's that?
And I've been having a bit of fun with Tinkercad, so I was thinking of scratch building the flamethrower tank and stuff like that from an M113, but decided I suck at it, but I can do 3D design a bit better. So on the left you have the flamethrower itself, which would be mounted in the turret if I have my dimensions correct, hopefully. We'll see. And then on the right is the actual tank, so I measured up the trailer, so hopefully this should just slot in. So I've made it hollow, so I'll be able to fit like a battery and some wires and stuff into it. But yeah, basically just been having a bit of fun with Tinkercad. So yeah,
very nice. I can't wait to see these on the model.
Oh,
well, I've got to talk to Dennis about that. So yeah.
No, fair enough.
Now he's not busy.
Finally, it's about fucking time.
Oh, that's dope.
You're telling me, Garrison.
Well, this is my 1/35th scale AFV Weasel with tow. It's to the point where I can start weathering it. The kit was great. Had some fitting problems with the upper and lower hull, but that's right. Nothing a bit of Tamiya putty can't fix. And the decals are absolute dog shit in this kit. Complete horrible. They fucking suck.
Sorry.
God damn.
Jesus, man.
Fucking A.
How's your tinnitus?
Don't sneeze into the mic. Sneeze away from the mic.
That was away from the mic, believe it or not.
Damn. My God.
Damn. All right. Well, like I said, wheel's not done. I'm going to add some scratch-built coats and a shirt. Some other stuff on here to cover up injection pin marks and whatnot. But it's got an almost full interior. That's why I kept the hatches open. It's going to be somewhere in Europe, probably France during the Cold War, in a training exercise. And yeah, trying out a new wood method also. I painted this Japanese World War II uniform color for the wood as a base color, and then I'm going to try to use oils to make it look like worn out, like oak wood or something. But we'll see.
That'll be dope.
Hopefully.
Garrison, what were the tracks that came with this kit? Were they rubber?
They are rubber, yes.
Ugh.
Yeah, I know.
Enjoy.
Whatever.
And they're
I
tiny
mean-
for rubber too.
Oh, dude, they're fucking.
There's no meat to them.
They're microscopic. Which I mean, it's fine. Like I've already got them made up in dark iron. I'm gonna give them a black wash and then just put pigments on them. That's really it. All right. This is our current group build going on. It's the Cold War group build. If you would like to participate, whether to go in for a prize or just for fun, join our Discord. We have a whole dedicated section to this. There's a whole little Reddit thing or Reddit. Fucking I can't. Dennis, take it away.
We have an actual section of our Discord which is currently devoted to posting the kits you are building, your works in progress, and your finished builds for this group build. If you participate, you can be eligible to be able to win a prize. What we'll do is we basically have an open judging category that the podcast members will participate in. We can't win any prizes, but anyone else can. We've got some pretty cool stuff up for winning. If you want to go and check it out, just join our Discord. The link will be in the description of the video.
And as always, we'd like to thank Jeff Hearn from Scale Colors and SE3D. So Jeff here is a sponsor of the podcast. He is sponsoring our group build and also is just sponsoring the podcast in general, helping us out. He is very, very good at that. So Scale Colors, he makes his own paints. They're acrylic. They're acrylic paint. They are non-toxic as fuck. They are really good. His ones are airbrushable straight from the pot, aren't they?
Yes, yep, they're made for airbrushing.
Yep, so they're made for airbrushing, and of course they're acrylic, they're non-toxic, so you... Hang on, I won't say that. I was going to say you don't need to use any respirators or anything, but I think Dennis would have
Don't say that. You always need a respirator. The official MMP position on health and safety is that there's no such thing as too much health and safety.
Yeah.
Use protection.
Yes, use protection.
In everything you do.
So just go along to scalecolors.com and have a look. He has all sorts of 3D resin printed tracks that are very good, very well detailed. He has all his paints there with every paint color you could ever need. He, especially naval colors. He is a naval guy, naval historian guy. So he has a lot of naval colors. He is also on our Discord. So if you join the Discord, you'll be able to find him there. You can ask him all sorts of questions. He has a wealth of knowledge. But we'll just like to take this time to say thanks to Jeff Hearn from Scale Colors. If you go along and purchase something, just let him know you heard it from us. We will just do a little thank you to him. So, yeah.
And as always, thank you so much to our Patreon supporters. We'd like to thank Paul Gallagher and Lord Floki himself for both helping out to support the podcast. If you want to listen to exclusive content like spoilers, exclusive episodes, not spoilers. Cal, what's the name?
Fuck ups.
Thank
bloopers.
You. Thank you. If you want to listen to
the stuff we're not allowed to put on YouTube, and I can assure you the stuff on there is it's mainly Garrison.
If you think we're bad here, you have no idea. There are. Oh, it's bad.
They are funny. It is funny. It's all bloopers. It's just jokes that we can't say on YouTube, but we figured, well, instead of deleting it, we'll chuck it on Patreon. If you subscribe to Patreon, you'll be able to see it just as a sort of thank you and just continue to help support our podcast.
Right then. Well, gentlemen, I think that was a podcast.
That has been the sleepiest podcast we've had yet. I am so fucking tired.
Same, yeah.
Next week, we have high bars.
Woo!
Yep, Dennis is going to lead us on the high Mars.
I thought it was you, dude.
No, it's you fucking goober. If you
Garrison, you told me it was Callum's episode.
No, fucker, it's yours.
I still get F-35, right?
Yes, you still get F-35, but you're doing HIMAR.
You're doing HIMARs, though, because I don't know dick about the HIMARs. That's like, it was made after 1960.
Yeah, get the guy who studies math to talk about the artillery system.
You're the one who introduced me to HIMARs.
Wait, was it really?
Yes. Bro, I could give a rat's ass about fucking artillery until I met you guys.
Well, shit, I can talk to you guys about the math behind HIMARS. All right, next week, I do a graduate level dissertation about the HIMARS guidance system.
Hell yes.
My name's Dennis, and I'm so glad I finished my college math. Oh, let me do a whole fucking episode over math. No, you fucking
Garrison,
whatever,
just be
whatever.
grateful I'm not doing a paper on it.
Is this going to be like an APS 2.0 episode?
Oh, you thought APS was bad? This is not an APS 2.0. That would imply that this is going to be on the same level as APS. No.
It's gonna be above it.
Oh, yeah. Put your thinking caps on, boys. We're going to break out the equations.
Oh no.
I'll do that after I get some damn sleep.
All
I'm
right.
sober enough for that.
All then. You have been watching and listening to the Micro Machines podcast. We will return next week with the HIMARS. Alrighty, bye everyone.
Deuces.
See ya.
See ya.